Hello, my dear students, and welcome once again to Zenith Academy Online. Today, we are studying a very important topic from sense organs, the ear. So, in this video module, we'll be talking about our ears. Okay, so let's start. This is for ICSE class 10, my dear students. So, let's start our class. So, there are two functions of our ears. The first is hearing and the second is body balance. So we'll talk about both the functions in detail, hearing and body balance. So first we'll talk about the anatomy of our ear. So there are three main divisions of our ear: outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. So let's talk about each one of them in detail. First of all, let's talk about outer ear. Okay, so it consists of the projecting part pinna. So this is the pinna part. Can you see here in the diagram? Wait, let me take the highlight laser pointer. So this is this you can see is the outer part. This is known as the projecting part pinna. This is also known as auricle, and the passage auditory canal. This is known as auditory canal. Okay, this leads to the eardrum or the tympanum. This is the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. So outer ear consists of pinna, the auricle, and the passage auditory canal leading to the eardrum. So all three of them comes under outer ear. Now let's talk about the middle ear. So it contains malleus, which is also known as hammer, incus known as anvil, and stapes known as stirrup, and a eustachian tube. So it consists of three little bones. Okay, this is malleus or hammer, this is incus or anvil, and this is stirrup. So along with these three and the eustachian tube, you can see here the eustachian tube. So all three of them consist of the middle ear. So now let's talk about why we call malleus as hammer, incus as anvil, and stapes as stirrup. See here, here is the comparison. Okay, can you see? This malleus bone looks like a hammer. This incus looks like an anvil, isn't it? And the stape looks exactly like the stirrup, which is there. You must have seen when you have gone for horse riding or something, right? So malleus, this picture clearly shows why these are the more common names. So more common name of malleus is hammer. For incus, it is anvil, and for stapes, it is stirrup. Okay, so I hope now you will remember these three bones very well. So now let's talk about the middle ear in detail. The three bones are collectively called as ear ossicle. The handle of the hammer bone is attached to the inner surface of the eardrum. Can you see here? The handle of the hammer bone is attached to the, can you see here? Inner surface of the eardrum, say this is attached. This handle is attached. Can you see here? Okay. Its opposite end is connected to the anvil. Its opposite end is connected to this anvil. Okay. Which in turn is joined to the stirrup. This is joined to the stirrup. The flat part of the stirrup fits on the so-called oval window. So you can see this is the flat part. This touches or connects to the oval window. We'll talk about oval window in detail in the next slides. The flat part of the stirrup fits in the so-called oval window, a membrane covered opening leading to the inner ear. So it is a membrane covered opening, which is covered with a membrane which leads to the inner ear. A second opening, the round window, also covered by a thin membrane, connects the middle ear and the inner ear. So there is another opening which is known as round window. This is also covered by a membrane and it connects the middle ear and the inner ear. So here you can see this is the stirrup. This is connected to the oval window behind the stirrup, and here you can see a round window as well, which connects this ear, middle ear, to the inner ear. Okay, clear? Where is the round window and where is the oval window? Is it clear? Oval window is just behind the stirrup, and the round window is where these two are connecting. It is a connection between your middle ear and the inner ear. Okay, let's go ahead. So this is a detailed diagram you can see. here they have explained the outer ear. Outer ear is auricle, external auditory canal, and the eardrum. This is inner ear, middle ear, which consists of malleus, incus, stirrup, and the eustachian tube. And now there is an inner ear. Okay? So let's talk about inner ear now. So inner ear or the membranous labyrinth. Inner ear is also known as membranous labyrinth. Okay, it has two major parts, cochlea and semicircular canals. So let's talk about each of them in detail now. So this is cochlea. Okay, let me take my pen. Okay, so cochlea is spiral shaped and looks like a snail shell. Here is the diagram I have given you. It has 2.5 turns. How many turns it has? 2.5. Okay, 1, 2.5 turn. It has 2.5 turn. Now this is they have cut and shown you this, that there are 3 hollow passages here. So we'll talk about it now. See here, this is 2.5 turn. Can you see here? And this section is opened and shown to you here. So now watch this very carefully. Okay, there are 3 parallel canals. Okay, the inner widening cavity is divided into 3 parallel canals separated by membrane. So can you see? Can you see the 3 parallel canals? This is one canal, this is another canal, and this is the third canal. Okay, and here there is a bony cochlear wall. Okay, the wall of the cochlea. Okay, so you can see this is known as vestibular canal. I will write here. Just a second. Okay, so this canal is known as the vestibular canal. Vestibular canal. Okay, this one is known as the medial canal. Okay, median canal. And this one is known as tympanal canal. Tympanal canal. Now I'll just move around and show you this. See the diagram carefully. So here you can see that they are connected to the auditory nerve fibers. So these yellow colored, these ones are the auditory nerve fibers. Okay, these are the auditory nerve fibers. So you have to remember there are these 3 canals, vestibular canal, median canal, and tympanic canal. And there is this membrane. I'll talk about this basilar membrane and tectorial membrane later on. Okay, and there is organ of Corti, which includes the sensory hair cells. You can see organ of Corti here. Okay, can you see this organ of Corti here? Okay, so what it is, I'll talk to you about this. See, the median canal, let me erase this first. Just a second, children. Okay, so the median canal is filled with a fluid called endolymph and the other 2 with perilymph. So see here, this canal, the medial canal, is having a fluid known as endolymph, and this one, this canal and this canal, both of them are filled with perilymph. Next, the middle canal contains areas possessing sensory cells. You can see these are sensory cells. Okay, the spiral organ called organ of Corti for hearing. So this organ of Corti is there. So if they ask you which part of the ear helps you in hearing, so that is nothing but cochlea. In cochlea, we have this spiral organ called organ of Corti, which is the main center of your hearing. Okay. The nerve fibers arising from these, you can see the nerve fibers arising from these, this yellow colored. So nerve fibers arising from these cells join the auditory nerve. The sensory cells lies on the basal membrane. Okay, basilar membrane. This is not basilar membrane. Can you see here? Basilar membrane. On this basilar membrane, the sensory cells lie. Okay. So this is another diagram which you can see, a little simplified form of a diagram. So now you can see these cells. Okay, this is known as spiral organ of Corti. Okay, this is your sensory nerve, which is this connects to the sensory nerve. So this nerve is basically known as cochlear nerve. Okay, this is the median canal, this is vestibular canal, this one is tympanic canal. Okay, and this is the basilar membrane. Clear to you? And this membrane, can you see this dark blue colored? This is known as tectorial membrane. Okay, this dark blue is tectorial and this is basilar. So if you see in this diagram here also, you can see this one is tectorial membrane and this below one is basilar membrane. So this diagram is very important to understand. So I am repeating here again, vestibular canal, median canal, and this is tympanal canal. Now, in this median canal only we have a basilar membrane. On basilar membrane we have sensory cells. Okay, and these are the two membranes, tectorial membrane and basilar membrane. This is the cochlear branch of nerve fiber. It will get connected to the nerve fiber. And these spiral shaped organ as the basic hearing organ. Okay, these are known as organ of Corti. This is very, very important. Okay, now, so we have understood, just a second, we have understood that there are two parts of the inner ear. First we have done cochlea, next we are doing semicircular canal. Okay, so this was all about cochlea. Now let's talk about semicircular canal. So can you see here, there are three semicircular canals out here: superior canal, posterior canal and horizontal canal. Let's talk about them. The semicircular canals are arranged at right angles to each other in three different planes. Okay, there are in three different planes. They are not coplanar. Alag-alag plane mein hai, X, Y, Z. So that one is horizontal and the other two are vertical. One end of each canal is widened to form an ampulla. Beta, you can see here, see this diagram, you can see the end, one end of each canal. Can you see this canal? One end of this canal, the end of this canal, and this canal's end. Okay, they are widened to form an ampulla. Just a second. Let me switch it off. Which contains sensory cells. So these ampulla contains sensory cells. Can you see? This is the inside diagram. This contains sensory cells for dynamic balance. Okay, so this part is there for dynamic balance while the body is in motion. And the nerve fibers from them join the auditory nerve. The short stem that is joining the base of semicircular canals. Can you see this diagram? This is the short stem that is joining these semicircular canals, okay, to the cochlea. So this stem, okay, it has two parts, a utriculus and a sulculus. Okay, so this is a utriculus. Let me write here. This is a utriculus. Okay, and this is a sulculus, S-U-C-C-U-L-U-S. Remember the spellings are very important. This circular part is utriculus, this circular part that you can see is sulculus. These parts also contain sensory cells for static balance. Static balance is when the body is stationary, as in when you are standing. At that time the balance is maintained by utriculus and sulculus, and when the body is in motion it is maintained by ampulla. This is ampulla. You can see the end of each of these canals is widened to form an ampulla which contains sensory cells while the body is in motion. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. You know now where is ampulla, and you know now where is this stem, short stem, where there is utriculus and sulculus. Okay, now we'll talk about, now we understood the anatomy of ear, we understood the outer ear, the middle ear and the inner ear. Now let's talk about the function of ear. There are two major functions of our human ear, that is hearing, and second is balancing of the body when we are in motion or when we are standing. So first let's study how the hearing takes place. Okay, So can you see the diagram very clearly? I hope I am not coming in between the diagram. Okay. Now see here what happens. I'll just take the marker again. Okay. You can see this is the external part of the ear. So this is known as pinna. The pinna collects these sound waves. These are the sound waves that are coming. So pinna collects the sound waves and conducts them through the external auditory canal. Okay, the sound wave has been conducted through the external auditory canal. Now they finally strike on the eardrum. This is the eardrum. They finally strike on the eardrum. Now I have told you that this outer ear contains pinna, the auditory canal, and a eustachian tube, right? So what is the function of this eustachian tube? It will equalize the air pressure on either side of the eardrum. So on both the side of the eardrum, it will equalize the air pressure, allowing it to vibrate freely, so that it can vibrate freely if there is an equal air pressure on both the sides. Okay, so that is the main function of eustachian tube. Now the vibrating eardrum sets the three ossicles into vibration. These are the three ossicles. Can you see? Malleus, incus and stapes. So they are setting it into vibration. Okay. The vibration of the last ossicle, that is the stirrup, this stapes or stirrup, is magnified due to liver-like action of the first two ossicles. So what does these first two ossicles do? They have a liver-like setup or a function action which helps in magnifying the vibration. Okay, so the vibration of the last ossicle is magnified due to liver-like action of the first two ossicles. Now the vibrating stirrup, this vibrating stirrup transmits the vibration to the, now you know there is this oval window, right? So it the vibrating stirrup transmits the vibration to the membrane of this oval window, which in turn sets the fluid. There is a fluid inside this. I had spoken to you about two different fluids, right? So it sets this fluid into motion. Okay, fluid that is contained in the cochlear canals into vibration. Now the vibrating movements of the fluid stimulate the hair-like processes of the sensory cells of cochlea. We know that in the cochlea there are sensory cells, so they get stimulated, and then the impulses are transmitted to the brain via the auditory nerve. Have you understood? So, sorry, this is the eustachian tube. So these vibrations go towards the brain via these auditory nerves. Okay, I'll repeat. Shall I repeat? What is happening? Initially the sound waves are coming. Pinna is allowing the sound waves to pass through the external auditory canal. Now this eustachian tube, this is the eustachian tube. Okay, the eustachian tube helps in maintaining the air pressure on both the sides of this eardrum. Now these vibrations set the eardrum into motion. Now these three ossicles also start vibrating because of the vibration of the eardrum. Now there's a liver-like action of these two, malleus and incus, which helps to magnify the vibration of the stirrup or the stapes. Now stirrup is connected to the oval window, right, the membranous window. So that membrane also starts vibrating, which sets the liquid in the cochlea, in the cochlear canals, also into vibrations, right? And the sensory cells in the cochlea then sends this stimulation to the auditory nerve, and then then it goes to our brain and we are able to interpret that what voice is coming, what is the frequency and pitch of the voice and everything. I hope this is very, very clear. So here I have given you the full write-up. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. So I'm just moving around. The pinna collects the sound waves and conducts them through the external auditory canal. They finally strike on the eardrum, which is set into vibration. The eustachian tube equalizes the air pressure on either side of the eardrum, allowing it to vibrate freely. You have to write it in points so that the examiner understands very clearly. The vibrating eardrum sets the three ossicles into vibration. The vibration of the last ossicle is magnified due to liver-like action of the first two ossicles. Now, the vibrating stirrup transmits the vibration to the membrane of the oval window, which in turn sets the fluid contained in the cochlear canal also into vibration. The vibrating movements of the fluid stimulate the hair-like processes of the sensory cells of the cochlea in the spiral organ, and the impulses are then transmitted to the brain via the auditory nerve. So in the last line, you remember, hair-like process of the sensory cells are stimulated of the cochlea in the spiral organ. What is that organ? That is known as organ of Corti, right? I hope this is very clear to you. Now I'm back. Okay, let's go ahead. So these are different interesting facts now about our ear. First, different areas of the cochlea are suited to sounds of different pitch. Okay, so that is why we are able to hear sounds of different pitch, because different areas of cochlea are suited to sounds of different pitch. Now, most of the sounds we hear are combinations of vibrations at many different rates of speed, matlab different pitches. Okay, so whatever we hear, most of the sound that we hear are a combinations of vibrations of different pitch, and we cannot pick up vibrations of all the frequencies. You have to understand that human ear is not capable of picking up the vibrations of all the frequency. Our sensory endings can receive only those from 20 to 20,000 hertz. That is why we have studied in physics also what is the audible range, 20 to 20,000 hertz. But most keenly heard sounds are those at frequencies between 1000 to 4000 hertz. So most of the things that we hear, or very keenly, nicely we can hear, is between 1000 to 4000. Okay. Now, dogs can perceive sounds of even higher frequency, even higher than 20,000 hertz. Okay, students. Now, let's talk about balancing. Okay, let's talk about balancing. So, one second. So, as the head, I'll talk about balancing here. Don't look here. I'll just talk about balancing. So as our head is turned in different directions, okay, there is a fluid inside our semicircular canals. So this also is shaken, and the moving fluid in the canal pushes against the sensory hair cells, okay, and sending the nerve impulse through the nerve fibers attached to them to the brain via the auditory nerve. Now the sensory cells in the semicircular canals are concerned with dynamic equilibrium. So I have already explained you when we were doing cochlea, okay, that in the semicircular canals, the second part of the inner ear, semicircular canal, sensory cells in the semicircular canal are concerned with dynamic equilibrium. I'll just write it here once more. So semicircular canals are there. Okay, semicircular canals are concerned with dynamic equilibrium. You should understand this. Okay, dynamic equilibrium whenever we are moving. Okay, while the body is in motion. Similar sensory patches are located in the utriculus and sacculus. We'll go back there and I'll explain you. See, here you can see these three canals. All these three canals are responsible for your dynamic equilibrium, and this utriculus, utriculus and sacculus is responsible for your stationary or static balance with respect to gravity. I hope this is very, very clear. We are also coming up with different questions. I'll be giving you questions from this book, ICSE Question Bank, so you'll be able to answer everything. Okay. So now this is very interesting. Listen to me now. So if you spin around, round and round, okay, if you keep on spinning round and round, like when you are performing some dance or kathak, or when you are just simply spinning round and round, then the fluid in the semicircular canals also continue to spin for a short time. Even after you stop, it keeps on moving due to inertia, right? And then you feel dizzy. And at the same time, your eyes also keeps on performing to and fro motions. Okay. And so this is caused due to stimulation of semicircular canals, because we know semicircular canals are there to maintain our dynamic equilibrium, dynamic balance. Right. Now, seasickness. You know, when you go on a ship or a boat into a sea or any water body, okay, you feel very dizzy. Or when you are in plane, at times you feel air sickness. Most of the times I feel car sickness. So all these sea sickness, air sickness and car sickness are often due to this unusual sensations of equilibrium. I hope you have understood this very well. Now this is quiz time, bacho. If you have understood the lesson very well, you will be able to answer. All these questions are from this particular book. Okay. This is Oswal's Gurukul, most likely ICSE Question Bank, Biology Class 10. Now, in this book, I have given a complete review of this book on my channel. You can go through it. It contains all different type of questions. But here in this video, I have taken name the following. Okay. So, this is the first question. The ear ossicle which is in contact with the oval window of the inner ear. What is the name of the ear ossicle which is in contact with the oval window of the inner ear? Can you tell me? Yes, the correct answer is stapes or stirrup. Okay. Name the 3 ear ossicles of the ear. This is very easy. Malleus, commonly known as hammer, incus, known as anvil, or stapes, known as stirrup. Now, this is the second question. What is the biological term used collectively for the 3 small bones present in the middle ear? Yes? Yes, bacho. That is ear ossicles. Very good. Next, name the part of the ear associated with static balance. I just now did balancing in the end. Part of the ear associated with static balance. Yes, utriculus and sacculus. Very good. Name the part of the ear associated with hearing. So the answer is cochlea. Because they have asked you part of the ear. So you can say cochlea. Right? And if they ask you which part in cochlea, then organ of Coti is the perfect answer. Okay? Or you can write here organ of Coti in cochlea to be more specific. Now, name the part of the ear, sorry, this is not here, this is EAR, ear, associated with dynamic balance. Okay, dynamic balance is when we are moving. Yes, the answer is semicircular canals. Very good, students. So that was all about the part ear, and I recommend using this book if you want to do lots of questions from all the topics. So this book contains the topics from all the chapters from both the terms, and especially this is for 2023 examination. And here there are different types of questions like state the function, true, false, name the following, fill in the blanks, give technical terms, okay, differentiate between, diagram based questions, short answer questions, catch and label the question type of questions, long answer questions, all type of questions are there. So you can go ahead and have a look. I'll give you the link in the description box. So stay tuned to Zenith Academy Online and keep the learning always on. Bye bye, my dear students.